Can you hear me now? Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. So before I go to explain to you what good or bad mental health is, I would like to ask you people to share with me what is your idea about mental health, good or bad? And please speak aloud so that I can hear you. I'm getting too old. If you're far away, then I won't be able to to hear you. If you speak, please speak aloud. And children, please sit down in one place. Make sure that they're not running around because they are distracting me. So, what is mental health? And there's no right or wrong answer, so don't worry about it. Yes, Saudbhai. Okay. Okay. Anybody else? Keep your mind free of wrong ideas and distractions. Okay. Anybody else? Sound sleeping. So able to sleep sound, then you have good mental health. That's a good sign. Sorry? Peace of mind. If you have peace of mind, then you have sound health, mental health, good mental health. Okay. Well, who else? Proper, proper focus. So if you're able to properly focus on things, then you are mentally healthy. Yes. Anybody else? Yes. Indeed. Yes, indeed. Wonderful. Anybody else? Absolutely. Absolutely. Are sisters able to contribute? Do they have a mic? Are they able to contribute? If the sisters have any comments or any ideas about it, please feel free to speak up because one of the things that I don't want to do is isolate the sisters so that they are not able to participate in the program. You can also ask questions anytime. Anybody else? Yes. Sure. Sure. Yeah. Anybody else? Yes. Sure. Okay. Uh, yes, brother. Okay.
away from negative activities, and so a healthy mm, mental health means the brain is pushing the body toward positive activities.
Okay. Thank you so much. Jazakallah khair. Let me share some thoughts with you about it. Mental health or mental illness is not anywhere like physical health or medical illness. Let me explain why. You have a problem with your kidney, you have a problem with your heart, you have a problem with your migraine headaches. You can physically describe the symptom, you can physically see this, you can identify that the pain is here, is my kidney, or I'm having difficulty breathing. You can explain it very easily because it's a medical issue. It's not the same as mental health. Lots of people are not mentally well and don't even know that they're not mentally well. If you have a migraine, you for sure would know I have a migraine. If you have any part of the body is aching, you would say, my knee is aching. But mental health or mental illness is such a thing that you cannot describe it. Generally, people would say, oh, I'm depressed. Oh, I'm anxious. But what does that mean? Um, when somebody says, oh, I'm depressed, exactly what is he saying? And nobody thinks about it really. Because it is easy to say, oh, I feel depressed. Oh, I feel anxious. And I would say, can I finish the thought? And I would say, how do you know you're depressed? How do you know that you're depressed? Yes, brother. Yes, I'm coming to it. So, what I'm saying is that mental illness is not anywhere near like medical illness, physical illness. It's a very different thing. I'm also going to share my biases with you. Like you heard, I have been practicing in the field over 50 years now. And for the last, since 2000, now 24 years, I only work with Muslim communities. I no longer work with the larger community because there's too many mental health professionals for the larger community. They don't need me. But Muslim community, Muslim families don't have too many of qualified mental health therapists who are not only trained properly in the field, but they also know the religion well. Because for Muslims, if you are depressed and if you are feeling anxious, if you go to a medical doctor, or if you go to a local therapist psychologist, um, if you go to a medical doctor, they will give you medication. They'll say, take these pills 3 times a day or 2 times a day, and in a couple of days, you're going to feel better. If you go to local mental health therapists, the Western therapists, they are going to treat you with what they call DBT, CBT, BBT, HET, and all kinds of different therapeutic modalities, and run you through a gamut of try to do this, relax this. They give you tips not to feel sad. I do not believe the Western model of mental health. I have been trained in the Western model of mental health with 2 master's degrees and a PhD in different countries. I do not believe that mental health problems are either genetic or caused by necessarily hormonal problems or chemical excretions in your brain. They are not caused by it, but it doesn't mean that those secretions in the brain and the hormones in the body affect it. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it's not caused by it. Are you with me? I therefore do not believe in diagnoses as well. Because as soon as you diagnose somebody, you put this person in a box. And the person himself and people around him and his family basically look the person and say, oh, he's depressed. Oh, he's ADHD. Oh, he is, suffering from panic disorder. Or he is, and you are just kept in that box. And you put yourself in that box. People generally, some people are very happy being labeled. 2 days ago, I was dealing with a sister. She said, "Can you make diagnoses?" I said, "Of what?" She says, "I have autism spectrum syndrome." I said, "What the hell is that? What is it?" She said, "You don't know?" I says, "No, I don't know anything about it. I was just being naive." I said, "Why would you want to be diagnosed as autistic spectrum syndrome?" She said, "At least I would know why am I behaving like this." So you need a label to find out why you're behaving like this. I said, "I'm not going to do it." Some people are very comfortable saying, "Oh, I have ADHD. I've been diagnosed as ADD," and etc., etc., etc. SubhanAllah, when people come to me, before they come to me, they've been to psychiatrists, psychiatric hospitals, medical doctors, therapists of various kinds before they come to me. And one of the things that I tell them is throw away all your diagnostic labels in the garbage. Because I don't want to deal with them. I want to deal with you as a human being who is capable of being healthy. I want to deal with you as a human being capable of being healthy and living a healthy life. Doesn't that sound much healthier than you are depressed or you have ADD? So I want to share this bias with you. I will not recommend anybody to go into these psychotropic medications before they have properly been assessed and seen a qualified psychologist to understand what the problem is. Because as soon as you go to a medical doctor or psychiatrist, they will put you on medication. There's no two ways about it. The other day, I was seeing a patient, and she said, or the parents of the patient, and they said, my son says that he hears things and, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and should we take him to a psychiatrist? I says, for God's sake, don't. Because as soon as you take him to a psychiatrist, what is he going to say? He is delusional. He is schizophrenic. He has auditory hallucinations. He needs to be put on antipsychotic medication. And then you are done with him. So I do not recommend psychotropic medications unless you have ruled out all other things. The only time I would recommend psychotropic medications is when a person has lost his ability to think rationally. When the person has lost all ability to control their thoughts, they just can't. They're incapable. Cognitively, they're incapable. Then I would recommend medication also temporarily until the mind settles down so the true treatment can begin. Are you with me?
Yes.
The time is short, the topic is long. Generally, I don't do these topics for less than half a day, and sometimes a full day. Because for me to do justice and for you to learn from it, you need to spend that time. Because I'm not going to give you some theories and some, academic kinds of things and have you go away. No, what I want to do is get you to think about yourself, each one of you who are sitting here, brothers and sisters and ever young people. I want you to learn to think about yourself and get to know yourself and find out exactly what is happening with me. And that takes time. So, when I was told that you have about an hour to do this, I was saying, how in the name of God I'm going to do it in an hour? But we'll try. I know I need to finish by between 9 and 9:15. Is that right, Sir? Take it, but don't come back. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So we'll see. If you get tired or bored, you can leave if you want to. Nobody leaves in half a day and never full day, believe me. So now I'm going to give you the definition of mental health. Good mental health is being able to effectively deal with the daily responsibilities of life. I'm going to repeat it. Good mental health is being able to effectively deal with the daily responsibilities of life without any anxieties, without any worries. You're able to deal with them. And to manage the relationship issues with love and kindness between you and your wife, between you and your children, between your children and your parents. That you're able to manage those relationships with love and kindness. Good mental health is to cope in a healthy way with the changing circumstances of life. This is a very important thing that I just said. Life throws at us all kinds of things all the time. Life is never consistent. Am I right?
Yes.
Every single day, something or other completely unexpected happens. Am I right? And what you were not expecting, you're not ready to deal with. But you're put in a position to deal with it. I'm going to give you an example from my life last Friday. Subhanallah, I came from Juma prayer last Friday, and I was wanting to change a cell phone battery in one of my remote control or something. And you know, cell phone batteries are packed in such a way that it's just impossible to open it. So I was using a knife to pry it open, and the knife went right into my finger and cut deep into my artery and my nerves. The blood was like the tap open, like open tap, and then I'm on blood thinners. So I had to see a patient in 20 minutes. After that, I asked my wife to take a thick towel and wrap it around, and I'll just see this patient, and then I'm going to go to the clinic. I didn't make a big deal of it. Now look, I said I have to see a patient in 15 minutes, wrap around the thick towel of paper, and I'll take care of it. That's what good mental health is. I didn't panic. I said, "Oh my God, what's going to happen? Oh my God, the blood's not. Oh my God, oh my God." I dealt with it. Now, see what happens. When you keep your mind calm and you trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that everything is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If He has given it to you, He is going to find a way for you to deal with it as well. I sit down with my patient, and I do only see patients on the internet, virtually. I don't see them anybody in person anymore. And this this lady, this girl, looks at my finger and says, "What the heck? What is your finger is all bit bloody?" I say, "I just cut my finger. It's just bleeding badly." So what the hell are you doing here? Go to the hospital. I said, "But I have the appointment with you. And you are sitting in a different time zone, and I feel bad about canceling your appointment." He says, "I don't care. Go take care of yourself." I said, "Okay." I thought very simply, I'm going to go to run to my family doctor. Clinic is 5-7 minutes drive, and he's going to wrap it up. I go to my doctor's clinic, no doctor. Friday afternoon. So she said, "Go to this clinic." I went through 4 clinics, no doctors, and still bleeding. In the fifth clinic, the guy said, "Yeah, we have a doctor. There's a 2-hour wait." By 7:30 in the morning, I was told that you have a very deep cut. It has to be stitched. They stitched me up, and I came home and had my dinner. It's taken care of. You see what I'm saying? Life throws at us unexpectedly things every day, and we should be able to deal with them in a calm, rational way. That's good mental health. And last but not least, to avoid unnecessary worries and stress. If you stop the habit of saying, oh my God, what am I going to do now? Oh my God, what is this? Why is this happening to me?" Stop saying this. You have good mental health. If you don't panic every time something happens, everything something goes beyond your expectation. If you don't panic, if you calmly deal with it, you have good mental health. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I've given you very precise definitions of what good mental health is. Let's go on. Poor mental health is exactly the opposite of it. So what is poor mental health? A loss of or impaired ability to fulfill the daily responsibilities of life. So I'm going to give you an example. I'm seeing this lady. I just saw her yesterday or day before. She's somewhere in America. And she said, "Dr. Saab, I just can't get up in the morning. I don't feel like getting up in the morning. My 12 years old son wakes up and he sits by my bed and is waiting for me to wake up, and I just can't get myself up to wake up. I feel so bad that I'm ignoring my child. I'm not I'm not raising him properly. I'm not feeding him properly." That's what I mean. When you are not able to fulfill the daily responsibilities of your life, you don't have good mental health. If you don't have satisfactory relationship, happy relationships in your home life, you don't have good mental health. The examples of it you're going to find in your own homes. If you don't have peace at home, if you don't have peace in the relationship with your wife and children, and if you can't make it work, you're not going to have good mental health. This is very common in our families. Very, very common. 70% of the problems I see are problems in home and the relationships. When you're not able to solve them, you don't have good mental health. It happens, it goes so bad that people don't want to come home after work. The husband says, "I just delay going home because there's going to be problems when I go home. There's going to be stress. There's no peace. I'd rather stay in the office. I do another job." Number three, ongoing unresolved conflicts. There's going to be conflicts in our life, am I right? Life is never going to be smooth. There's going to be people that you have difference of opinion with. There's going to be people you have deep conflicts with and you're not able to resolve it and they go on and on and on. That's bad mental health. It's going to give you bad mental health. Next, inability to adjust and cope with the changing circumstances of life, like I just mentioned, the opposite of it. Circumstances will continue to change. You have a job today, tomorrow you're fired. You have a good business today, tomorrow you end up with a major loss in your business. Today you have great children and everything is fine. Tomorrow you get a call from your kid's teacher that we are expelling him. He's being too naughty. Life throws at you all these things, and if you're not able to cope with it, you don't have good mental health. And excessive worries and stress, all of these things result in poor mental health and the loss of control over emotions and behavior. One of the signs, one of the very quick signs to find out if you have good mental health or not is to see if you're able to control your emotions and behavior. If you get home and your wife says something, or your husband says something, or your son behaves in a certain way, and you lose it, and you start yelling and screaming, and says, "What the heck is wrong with you guys? You're always in, what's wrong? You're disobedient, not respecting your father. What's wrong?" And you lose control. Immediate sign that you don't have good mental health. Make sense? I'm going to stop here for some quick questions before I go on and your thoughts. But please keep it short. Don't make it too long. I want to hear from you, but short statements or short questions. Anybody? Yes, brother.
Yeah, I was going through this kind of stress, especially because of the work. And then I came across a book called How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie,
Hmm.
and it's really helped me.
Wonderful. Wonderful. These self help books sometimes help. But remember, those are written in a sort of a global general way. And everything does not fit everybody. Each one of us is so different that these books are not written to meet the requirements of every single individual. They are written in a global way. And I'm going to give you a quick example of this. In the books about parenting and disciplining, one of the tips that they give is if the child is not behaving properly, give him time out to sort of relax and calm down. So I was seeing this mother, and she said, I have this huge issue with my son. He just misbehaves, mistreats his sister, and I just can't stop, can't deal with this anymore. It's just driving me nuts. And it's bothering the little sister as well. And I said, so what have you done so far? She says, I have read all kinds of books on parenting. And one of the things that I recommend is give them time out to settle down, to relax, and get them out of the situation. And I said, yeah, and that works? He says, absolutely not. I said, why? He says, now my son has figured out. He hits his sister and says, I'm going to take my time out. He bucks his sister, he's rude to me, says, I'm going to take my time out. So time out is a reward for him now, not a consequence. So it doesn't work for everyone. So, yes, if it works for you, wonderful. If it doesn't, go seek individual help. All right? Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Sometimes we get angry with our kids, just intention in the back of our mind to get them showing our anger so they don't repeat that mistake again. So is that will be classified as a mental, poor mental health?
No, no. What's going to happen is, in that case, in the case that you're talking about, obviously your son is behaving in a way that you want to correct. Am I right?
Yeah.
And therefore you yell at him. But that's not the right way to correct him. Because the more you yell the more you yell at him, the more he will stop listening to you. He's gonna say, "Okay, Dad, keep going, get it done." Nothing's gonna change. For that, we would have some time another session about parenting. Yes, who was? Yes, brother. Yes, brother, go on.
My question is that being stressful and being anxious is something which that is very that is not uncommon to humans.
For sure.
We all are prone to it, regardless of in
For sure.
fact how much cool or calm one pose ourselves. And when you look even at the prophets like Hazrat Yaqub al Islam and Musa al Islam, it's mentioned in the Holy Quran as well, they also have some sort of anxiety and stresses.
For sure.
So my question is, how what are the strategies that are available that Islam allows us and teaches us that based on your experience as well, would you please share with us a few strategies how to cope with those stressful environments which we have to ultimately cope in our daily life?
I will. I will. And you're absolutely right. Stress and anxiety is unavoidable because Allah has created us weak and we begin to worry. As long as that stress and anxiety does not make you dysfunctional, you're okay. Are you with me? So, yes, you're going to get stressed. Yes, you're going to become anxious. But as long as you're able to manage it and not become dysfunctional. If you don't say, leave me alone, I don't feel well, and you don't talk to anybody for 2 days, then you're going to be okay. I'm going to come to the strategies later. Yes, brother.
What I have realized, experience and whatever you have talked so far, there are two ways to look at the life. One is you react to a situation, and one you anticipate a certain thing, like you mentioned.
Say it again. One
There
is?
are two ways
Okay.
to look at everything or towards our life. One is to react to
To,
a certain situation.
right.
A sudden accident, it happens and we are reacting to it.
Yep.
Another situation is like we anticipate something could happen, good, bad,
Yep.
and then I think it will be, we as a human being could be in a better position to handle it.
Okay. Um,
Like let's say, for example, losing a job
yep.
is a possibility. So within yourself, if you know it could happen, okay, at least we are prepared for it. Today, tomorrow, after a year, 6 months, whatever. But if we are going relaxed, okay, nothing will happen, it will keep going on, it is going on. Suddenly you come to know you are fired, immediately you will react in a different way.
So, in other words, what you're saying, if I can say it in my words, correct me if I don't get you. Okay. What you're saying is that when you say anticipating, you're saying that knowing that things can go wrong, right?
Or good, or right.
Things can go good, go wrong or right. Anticipation. The word anticipation means you expect. Are you expecting this to happen, which it may not. So you're waiting when it's going to happen. We are anticipating rain to come. This storm is coming, and storm is anticipated. Now we're looking at, are the clouds darker yet? Is it raining yet? That causes anxiety. Knowing that a storm may come, may not come. That's not anticipation. That's accepting the fact. Reacting, again, when you react, you don't think. You just react, right? Actually, responding to things appropriately is the way, not reacting. Reaction is spontaneous, without thought. That's not good mental health. Responding to him with giving good thought is good mental health. Anybody else?
Doctor, these things are totally interconnected. It's a daily life system. It's going in chain,
Yeah.
linked one one action with the other and one situation with the other. For example, if I have an argument over here in this masjid, I go out and if I see something, someone talks to me, so this kind of my high blood pressure or whatever the situation is here, that is transferred over there.
Yep.
So then I go to the traffic light. I see the traffic light. The eyes start swelling at the light.
Yep.
So in the same kind of situation, for example, if I have a bad kind of experience with someone, I'm trying to return some shirt or anything which I buy and the guy is not returning. I come home and now that situation is still sitting in my head.
Right.
And then my family is asking me or questioning or anything. So that situation is not going out, it's not out yet.
Right.
So those kind of things, it is a continuous kind of link.
But you know, the thing is, brother, if you carry those things with you all the time, you're going to be projecting it on there to everything else. But that's not good mental health. You don't carry anything with you, you just deal with it as effectively as you can. So, if you bought a shirt, you want to go to return it, and the guy says, I'm sorry, 30 days are over, or whatever, you can't give it back. You were really wanting to get rid of the shirt, now you can't. What are you going to do about it? What is a reasonable, healthy way to deal with this? You can either swear at the guy and say, well, I have to return it. What's the matter with you? You're not fair with me. Is it because I'm Indian or I'm brown? Are you prejudiced against me? You can do that. Or you can say, well, it's a store policy. It's a store policy. Big deal. It's my fault. I didn't return it earlier. You dealt with it. You don't have to carry it anymore. You see what I'm saying? You don't ever carry these things anywhere. We people, men and women, when we work, we are stressed outside on the work. We deal with all kinds of people all the time. And then we have this stress and we bring it home. And if we are still stressed, it's very easy to project it onto our family. We become irritated. We lose emotions. Why? Because we carried something from outside that doesn't belong here.
Yes.
Not a good idea. Okay.
Based on the talk so far you have shared with us, can we say that mental health is all about dealing with the emotions, and as an individual, it is our responsibility to find out or identify those triggers that really lead us to those, to responding to unpleasant situation or the adverse situation that should not be an ideal choice. So we need to figure out in our own self what could be the best strategy to deal, because everybody has their own set of emotions and thinking patterns, and it happens that this brother may deal the situation calmly, and when I am put into that situation, into an awkward situation, into an unpleasant situation, my response is not that great like him. It can happen, right?
Yep.
So we need to find out those triggers that why that particular why I'm not responding to that situation in a calm manner.
Right. That's an intelligent way to deal with it. For sure.
We have a question from the sister.
Okay, go on.
Is it okay to think about difficult possibilities like losing someone dear to us as a way to prepare emotionally? If we acknowledge their possibilities, can it help us face them with resilience rather than being completely unprepared for it?
No, I would say this would be unhealthy. It would be unhealthy to say, oh, my daughter's going to die. Oh, my daughter's going to die. Oh, my husband is going to die. You're always going to be stressed about this. Remember what I told to the brother, knowing that we are all going to die one day. You see what I'm saying? Remembering that we all gonna die one day, that is a normal end of this life, and it is gonna happen. But we don't know when the time would come for who. Am I right? So instead of me anticipating and waiting for it to happen to prepare myself to deal with it and lose my sleep over it and be continuously stressed about it, what I should say to myself, you know, life is going to be life. My son, my daughter, my husband, my wife is healthy right now. Alhamdulillah. You just be grateful for what you have right now and not worry about something wrong is going to happen. Or what if something wrong is happen? I'm going to teach you a principle, guys. A golden principle to live by for good mental health. Take it to your heart. If you take anything away from me tonight, that one thing, take it and keep it. Yesterday is gone. Whatever good or bad it had is no longer there. There's nothing you can do to change this. Let it go. Let it go. Past is only good to learn the lessons from. To learn your lessons from. That's what past is good for. If you worry about and say, oh, if I only had not done this, oh, if I had taken to the person to the hospital quickly, oh, if I had gotten a second opinion, oh, if I did not behave this way, you're going to live today in your past. Am I right?
Correct.
You're going to live your today as a past.
Yes.
Point number two. Point number two. Tomorrow hasn't come and may not come. Who among here can say you will wake up in the morning tomorrow? What the hell is the point about worrying about tomorrow when it hasn't come yet? What is tomorrow good for? Listen carefully. Tomorrow is only good for knowing that ultimately I'm going to be held accountable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And therefore, I should live my life the best I can. Yes, you can plan for tomorrow. Yes, there's nothing wrong with it. But manage that planning. So, if you plan to go to college, get your degree in medical medicine, become engineers, become whatever you want to do, if you want to expand your business, etc., want to start two new shops, fine, no problem. Ask yourself, what can I do about it today? What can I do about this to reach that goal today? If I cannot do anything today, I'll wait until tomorrow to see what can I do tomorrow for it, rather than keep worrying about it and keep planning on it. And the last point, live the best you can for this moment. This is the only moment I have. And please remember, happiness is nowhere to be found. Let me repeat. Happiness is nowhere to be found. If you're going to be searching happiness, you're always going to be sad because you can't buy it. You can't find it. Happiness, my dear brothers and sisters and children, is in the moment. Every time I speak, I have an active thought process. And I am conscious that what I want to say, I want to say in a way that people would understand me and not misunderstand me. So every time I say something and I see lots of you nodding, I feel happy. You see what I'm saying? I feel happy that I did a good job. If nobody says, we have no questions, my God, I feel happy. I must have done a good job.
Yeah.
Happiness is in the moment. Happiness is in acting, not just thinking. And that is the principle. Take home with you. Write it on your heart and in your mind. If you work and live your life by that principle, you would always have good mental health. Yes, brother, you've been asking something.
I was just saying and thinking that somebody wrote that he was worried for tomorrow, but he died tonight.
Exactly.
So basically, this tomorrow is the basic problem, and something very easily we know easily. I don't know why we get stressed because anything good or bad is coming from God.
Exactly.
So why don't we treat it? We are assuming that He did it with me, He did it with me, He stopped me, and we are making assumptions and creating all the problem. If anything which is coming from God, He will resolve it.
Absolutely. You know, those things are very easy to say, but very difficult to practice.
Yes.
We all know that. Yes, sir. No. Planning for tomorrow is good. But when you're planning for tomorrow, two things, son. Number one, make sure that your plannings are such that you're able to get there. So if you say, I want to be an astronaut, good luck. When's that going to happen? So your planning and your goal should be realistic, number one, right? And then when you say, for example, you say, I want to get a good grade in my exam, right? For example, or I want to go to college, for example. Then you can say to yourself, good idea, I can do this, I know. What do I need to do about it today to get it there? You get it? Are you with me? Okay. Bad, very bad. Just do your calendar for today, and when you're doing for your calendar for today, make sure that you don't overload your calendar because you only have so much time. If you overload your calendar at the end of the day, you're going to be disappointed. So I was supposed to do this, this, and this, and this, and I was not able to. Right? So now the way to go about it, my dear son, and he's asking some very good questions, very relevant questions. Good guy. So you make a list of your things and you say, prioritize it. I have 10 things to do today in my calendar. I'm going to prioritize and this, and I must do today. And if I do these four things today, I'll be happy. The rest, put it in the next day. Are you with me? So you're building your calendar for the next day based on what you need to do today.
Yes.
And if you cannot do something today that can only be done tomorrow, then put it for tomorrow. I want to go to the bank to withdraw $40. I can't do it now. Banks are closed. I would put it in my calendar for tomorrow. Am I right? Okay. I need to stop. I need to keep going on.
We have a question from sister.
Okay.
Is it important to resolve past issues with others even if they don't affect our daily life but still make us feel sad when we think about them?
That's a very common question, especially for sisters. Because when they're hurt, they hold on to it with their dear life. It never goes away. It's because Allah created women as emotional creatures. Uh, as much as it is an asset for them, it is a curse for them as well. Because they get hurt easily and they sit on it. It's difficult for them to let it go. They have to resolve it somehow. It's a very common thing. What should a sister do? Number one, the sister should ask herself, is it resolvable? The person who did this wrong to me and hurt me, is the person willing to listen? Am I able to talk to this person, resolve it? Or am I just going to get into more arguments with him? If the answer is, it's not going to serve any purpose. My husband, my son, my wife is that's how her personality is. If I talk to him, he's never going to accept that he did anything wrong to me. How are you going to resolve it then? If it is resolvable, if two of you can sit down, if you need to bring in a professional to help you do it, do it. I'm going to give you an example from yesterday or day before. I'm seeing this sister, and she said, "My father had put me down, called me names, made me feel totally worthless all my life." She said, "I'm going to give you an example. In my grade 8, she's an adult now, she's in her 30s. So in my grade 8, I was going to be given a medal in the year of end ceremony for some achievement. And I said my parents to please come because I would be awarded these medals for my achievements, and they came. And the medal was for my artwork, and she has very good quality artwork. The samples of her artwork that she showed me, it's Disneyland quality artwork. If she was in Hollywood and with these companies that draw these pictures for the cartoons, she'd make hundreds of thousands of dollars. That quality artwork. She said when I was given my certificate and they put a medal around my neck, my parents got up and left. I just kept looking at them leaving. After they left, I was awarded another medal, another certificate for my academic work, which they never saw. When I got home, my mother was upset at me. Why would you want to wake your father up to go to see you get a medal in your artwork? What good is that? She said, I was completely heartbroken. She said, somebody gave me a $3,000 contract to draw a certain picture in big canvas. 3,000 US dollars. It took me a year to do it. It was on a canvas. I shipped it out to the person, and then I made a copy of it to hang it in my room. And I said to my dad, I would like to hang it in my room. She says, you have enough garbage there. Throw it away. She said, Dr. Sadi, I want to make peace with my father. I want him to realize what he has done to me. I said, you know your father for the last 32 years. Knowing what you know of him, is he capable of understanding? I want his approval, she says. I know, sweetheart, that you want his approval. I understand. As a child, you never did. A child always wants appreciation from their parent. Am I right? It is the parents' appreciation that counts to them. If 1,000 people can say something to them about how good they are, it would not make as much difference as a father or mother saying, that's a great job. Give me a hug. Am I right, guys? She said, I still am looking for approval. I said, sister, is it possible that you can sit down? Would he sit down with me and you and help you do it? She says, he would never talk to you. I said, so what do you expect? How long do you want to hold on to it? And sister, you're not a child anymore. You're still looking for approval from your parents as if you were a child. But you're not a child anymore. You're a grown woman. You can find other sources of approval that are more meaningful than somebody who's not capable of approving you. I hope that I answered this question.
Yes.
Okay, let me go on. The time is almost going and too fast. Very quickly, for Muslims and non-Muslims who have some faith, good spiritual health is closely related to good mental health. Good spiritual health is positively rated, correlated to good mental health. And good spiritual health consists of what? When I say good spiritual health, I have to define it so you understand what I'm talking about. Good spiritual health is first of all, number one, a good understanding of your faith and your beliefs. We say we believe in Allah, but do we understand Allah? These days, what's happening in the world? Bad things are happening to the Muslims, am I right? All around the world. And people are feeling guilty, depressed, sad, frustrated, angry, and even angry at God. Many losing their faith and saying, where is Allah? Where is He? Why is He allowing this to happen? What have we done? What have we done so wrong? What are these poor little children and little women and old men are being thrown out of their house, bombed and destroyed their houses and killed willy-nilly, and nobody cares for them? Where is Allah? You know what? You said dealing with your emotions is one of the important things in mental health. But it becomes very hard to deal with these emotions if you don't have good faith. If you don't understand what Allah is all about, you will continuously go through these conflicts. And the children, please remember that, especially children. If you don't understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you would always question, where is He? Why is he doing this to me? What's wrong? What have I done to Him? I'm praying, don't I? You're going to ask those questions. If you don't understand what Allah is all about. Can I explain to you right now? No, I can't. I need another session for this. But a good understanding of faith is very important. Number two, properly understood beliefs and dictates of faith. When you don't understand your beliefs properly and the rules and the dictates of the faith, your spiritual health will be always shaky. For example, kids generally and adults also ask me the question, 5-time prayers is so difficult. We go to school, we are at work, we risk losing our jobs. We can't keep asking all the time, I have a prayer time. Why Allah made it so difficult? Why can't we just pray like once a week like Christians do? Why can't we just sit at home at night and pray and meditate at the night when we have nothing else to do? Those questions will come up, guys. They invariably will come up. And when you go to your parents, they're going to say, shut up, you stupid guy, you shouldn't be asking these questions. You're going to straight to hell. What's wrong with you? You're not supposed to ask those questions. We do it because Allah asked you to. But I'm asking why Allah asked us to do it anyways. Properly understanding the beliefs and the dictates of faith is very important. Please remember something. Every rule, every command, every dictate of the faith has wisdom behind it. It's not that Allah just wanted things to be difficult for us. There is wisdom behind it. We may sometimes not understand all the wisdom, but there is wisdom behind it, no doubt. We need to understand that. Number 3, comfortability in living by the guidance and dictates of the faith. I'm okay, I can live it. I am loyal to my faith. I'm going to do my best to live it according to my faith. I'm not going to question it. That's good spiritual health. Guys, listen, especially I'm going to focus on you guys. Listen. Every time you don't understand anything about what you believe or what you practice or what you see your parent practice, and you don't understand it, don't ever sit down and not talk about it. You need to talk about it. And you need to ask your parents that please help me understand this because I don't understand this. If the parents say, we don't know, then let's go find out the answer. Because if you don't understand it, then your faith is vulnerable. You can be swayed by people very quickly. I'm going to give you a very quick example. A number of years ago, I dealt with an 18, 19-year-old guy, Hafiz of Quran. Listen, he was a Hafiz of Quran. He had never seen a public school. He had always been in Islamic school. He was leading Taraweeh prayer in Ramadan. And he was so well respected that when he was in the masjid, the local imam would say, come lead the prayer. That's how respectable he was in his community. One day, his parents called me in total panic. Said, we need to see you and we need to see you now. What's the problem? Can't explain it on the phone. I can't see you tonight. It's nighttime. Come tomorrow, I'll see you. They come to me with a big bundle of papers. I said, what is this? And they start to cry. He says, we just found out by accident that my son is not Muslim, this son. And he's running a blog on the internet helping other Muslim kids saying that Islam is just a way to control people. They don't have answers. Islam is a way to control people. They don't really any have answers. There's no truth to it. And he was running a blog. And they copied everything. SubhanAllah. I know the family. I know the kid. The kid has been coming to my dars for 24 years, 18 years, 16 years. The family is always there in the masjid. I said, bring your son. The next day the son came by himself. I said, parents, go away. I said, son, what happened? Like, I'm totally speechless to hear what I heard yesterday. Could you please explain to me what happened? And she said, yeah, uncle, for sure. Because I know you will not judge me. I would tell you what happened. Yes, I sat in your dars of Quran. Yes, my family. Yes, I never went to Islamic school. Public school. Yes, I'm a Hafiz of Quran. This is uncle. Every time, even in your dars and in my Islamic school, there were questions in my mind about what I was being taught. But I was not allowed to ask because that'd be blasphemy. How dare you ask those questions? So I just stay quiet. And finally, it bothered me so much that I started looking on the internet for the answers and found out there are no answers. We have done a bad job for centuries not to teach our kids their faith properly. Am I right? We just teach them the customs and traditions of the faith. You make the wudu this way, this breaks your wudu this way, you pray this way. If you do this, your prayer is broke. Am I right? At the most, we get the kids to learn to read Quran. And if they learn to read Quran, subhanAllah, we've done our job. Khalas. And I said, I can't believe in this anymore. There are no answers. So I said, so have you converted to any other religion? He said, no, I don't believe in any religion. Are you atheist? No. Then what are you? He said, I'm an agnostic. Agnostic person is somebody that says, there is a God, maybe there isn't, we don't know. There is a hell or heaven. We don't know, so we won't worry about it. This is what happens when you don't explain to the kids why Allah has asked them to do something or asked them not to do something. This guy was still leading the masjid in Taraweeh. Is still, doing the imamat. And I says, why would you do that? Because you are not even a Muslim. People praying behind you, their prayer is no good. He said, what difference make to them? I'm praying the way I was taught to pray. If they're praying behind me, their prayer is good. Whether it's good for me or not, I just pretend that I'm praying. I just do my job. These are real examples of the people that I deal with. Learn. Okay. And the last thing about good spiritual health is consistency and stability in the practice. It's not that if you have time, you pray today. If you don't have time, you're going to pray tomorrow. If you have time to go to masjid, you'll go. If you are busy watching news, you don't go. No. You need to be stable and consistent. If you, especially parents, if you parents do not practice your faith consistently in your home, your kids would never learn it. They would say, the attitude is take it or leave it. The attitude is do as much as you can, the rest Allah will forgive. That was all about spiritual health. Now then, moving right along, there are some verses in the Quran that are very closely related to maintaining good mental health by properly understanding the faith. I'm just going to recite to them. Number one, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Allah says in chapter 92, verse number 4, لقد خلقنا الإنسان في كبد. لقد خلقنا الإنسان في كبد. Indeed, we have created man into toil and struggle. How is that verse important for our spiritual health? The verse teaches us that, O human, you were born in this world in pain. Am I right? The child is born, and every child that is born is crying. Am I right? Allah says, this is how I created you. You are going to keep going through pain. There's no ways out of it. But Allah says also, it will not last forever, because after every hardship, there's going to be ease. But after every ease, there's going to be hardship again. If there was no hardship, we would not value ease. If there was no pain ever, we would not value ease, and vice versa. Let's look at the next verse. Allah says, this is about fitra of human beings. This is verse number 83 from chapter 17. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. وإذا أنعمنا على الإنسان عارض ونأى بجانبه وإذا مسه الشر كان يئوسا. When we bestow our grace and our blessings on a man, he turns his back and becomes arrogant. Oh, I did it. I always knew I could do it. I worked day and night for it. I spent my blood and sweat to do it. Man, oh man, me. I got it. But as soon as Allah says, when evil seizes him, when bad things happen to him, he gives himself up to despair. Why me? What have I done wrong? Everything was going so well. Why did Allah do this to me? This is about fitrah. We need to know our fitrah. We need to know that this is our weakness. It is at that time that you remember, لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي كَبَدٍ. At that time, you need to know hardship and ease are cyclic. They're going to come and go, come and go, come and go. Next verse of Quran. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها لها ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت. Allah does not burden a soul with more than it can bear. Such an important, such an important piece to remember and learn lesson. If Allah puts you through some test, He will not put you beyond your capability to deal with it. This is true blessing from Allah. You know, people who are suffering are not suffering that badly than those who are watching them suffer. People who are suffering, they don't feel their pain as much as those who are watching them. You understand? Because Allah had given them at that time the ability to deal with the pain and to make best of it. It will have the consequences of what good it has gained, and it will bear the consequences of what it has earned. In other words, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that some of these things, the test, the pain, and these things come from how you behave. The choices that you make, your deeds. You don't realize it when you're making the choices. What would be the consequence? Simple as some kids like to eat a lot of junk food. Actually, these days everybody likes junk food. Let's go grab hamburger and fries. Am I right? Let's go grab pizza. And we overeat. And then we end up with indigestion. We end up with stomach problems. We end up with bad stomach pains. Oh Allah, why did you do this to me? Don't eat all this garbage. You're causing it to yourself. That's what it means. لَهَا مَا كَسَبَتْ وَعَلَيْهَا مَا اكْتَسَبَتْ. Let's go to the next verse. Allah says, وَلَنَجْزَيَّنَ الَّذِينَ صَبَرُوا أَجْرَهُمْ بِأَحْسَنِ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. And most certainly we shall grant unto those who are patient in adversity their due reward, and even more. So what is Allah teaching us in this verse? Be patient. وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ. إِنَّ اللَّهَ مَعَ الصَّابِرِينَ. When adversity falls on you, Allah gave us the treatment. وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ. So, my dear brothers, this is what the relationship between good spiritual health and good mental health is. Now, I'm going to talk to you very quickly without spending too much time because now the time is really going fast. What are the root causes of mental and emotional problems? Behind every kind of mental and emotional problems and mental ill health are some consistent factors. Number one, excessive worrying. Excessive worrying is present in every mental disorder. Hi, मेरे साथ क्या हो गया? क्यों हो गया? Why did it happen to me? What's wrong? Etc. Am I going to ever be better? Or I have to live my life like this? Number one. Behind every major problem, this is number one root factor. Number two, fear. मेरी तो मौत आ गई है. I am about to die. I think my life is over. And then you fear death. And then you fear what's going to happen in the qabr. And then you fear what's going to happen in the qabr. And after the and blah, 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 blah. Fear is at the root of every mental disorder. Number three, unending and unresolved daily life stresses and frustrations. If you have frustrations and stresses in your life, whether at home, at work, and they're not getting resolved, then you end up with mental illnesses. And number four, the worst one, is feeling stuck. Feeling stuck. That means there's no hope, there's no choice. This is the worst place a human can be psychologically and emotionally. Feeling stuck. I deal with it in marital situations. When a husband and wife are not getting along for 10, 15, 20 years of their marriage, and they feel no way out, and they feel stuck. I remember a case of a woman who was in her late 50s, early 60s. She called me one time and she said, I need to come to you, I need some counseling. What about this? What is about this? It's about my marriage. You need marriage counseling, sister? No, I need divorce counseling. Okay. She comes. I said, so what's happening? She says, what's happening is that I have been living this marital hell for this long. I was married at age 20. Now I'm 58. 38 years of my life, I'm in this hell that I'm not happy. I stuck it out for the sake of my children. I stuck it out, kept taking medications to relax me, to make me sleep. Now, my last daughter got married and she's happily married and gone. I don't want to live in this situation anymore. Is it worth it to feel stuck for 40 years or 30 years? People feel stuck in their job situation sometimes. People feel stuck in your school situation sometimes. You end up stuck. You get sometimes stuck with the bad teacher who is not fair, who is not bosses in your offices, professors in your schools. You end up feeling stuck. Remember, don't ever give in to feeling stuck because it is the root cause of mental illnesses. This feeling stuck leads to the next root factor, which is feeling hopeless and helpless. So, like this one person said to me, I'm just waiting to die. If it was not haram, I would kill myself tomorrow. But I don't want to go to hell. But I pray every day for God to take me. Root of many, 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 many mental health problems. And last but not least, personality traits, character problems. If you have a personality, if you have a character that is bad, the example of which is, I know better. I must be respected. I have so many business. I have so much money. People should respect me. How dare, how dare you not respect me? I'm your husband. If it was not haram, Allah would have asked you to make sajda to me. How dare you don't respect me? What's wrong with you? What I'm saying you must obey blindly because that's your requirement. If I beat you, it's for your own good. Those are personality problems. When you have underlying personality problems, you will never be mentally healthy. You make everybody's life miserable, including yours. Like very quickly, when you have mental health problems, these are these are they are manifested in inability to effectively manage your daily life and emotions. You keep losing it. You're just walking on, you know, uh, shell ice. You get angry very quickly. You get sad very quickly. Your relationship problems with your husbands and wives, domestic abuse, addictions, all of these things are manifestations of emotional problems, emotional illnesses. Now we come to the last part of it. How does faith helps with this? How does faith guides us when we are going through these situations? Please remember and remember very clearly. Faith does guide. Faith does not solve problems. Let me repeat that. Faith does guide, but faith does not solve problems. You end up with a chronic health problem. The faith guides. How does the faith guide? Istainu bis sabri was salah. Inna Allah ma sabirin. That's how faith guides. Prophet says that's not enough. Go seek treatment. The Prophet says that's not enough. Go seek treatment. That's why seeking treatment is the sunnah of Rasulullah. You lose a job and you're worried about how you're going to provide for your family. How does the faith guide you and faith helps you? Allah says, وَكَأَيٍّ مِّن دَابَّةٍ لَا تَحْمِلُ رِزْقَهَا اللَّهُ اللَّهُ يَرْزُقُهَا وَإِيَّاكُمْ. There are many living creatures which do not carry their sustenance, but Allah provides them and you with sustenance. That's how Allah guides you. Now what you do, you go look for another job. Don't sit home and pout. Don't sit home and pout. Go look for another job. And don't say, I can only job that pays 140K a year. It's beyond me to take anything less than that. That's stupid. That's arrogant. If Allah opens the door, walk in, take the risk from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you are grateful, Allah will give you more. Right? Then Allah says also, وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبْ وَمَنْ يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَحَسْبُهُ. And Allah will provide for him from unexpected sources. Allah suffices for anyone who puts his trust in him. If you live by this principle, that Allah has taken upon himself to provide for every creature that he created. That's what Allah said in the Quran, am I right? We just read it. If I have lost a job or a business, that doesn't mean it's my end for my sustenance. Allah will open another door for me. I'm going to share my life with you. In my entire life, I have never been jobless. It has nothing to do with me. I have been fired and I have been let go many times. But before they let me go, Allah has already given me a job. I don't live to work. I work to provide sustenance to my family because Allah has made it my obligation. I don't live to work. I work to live. You see the principle? I don't live to work. I work to live. And most of the time, let's face it, we just live to work. We just live to work. Work more, make more. Look at these other people have so much. What's wrong with you? And your children and your wives and your spouses put you to shame. Why don't you do something more? You don't have any desire to get somewhere, and we just stays there. And how does Allah guides? Allah says, وَأَنْ لَيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى وَأَنْ سَعْيَهُ سَوْفَ يَرَى. And that man shall have only that for which he strives for. A man shall only have what he makes an effort for. And that the fruit of his striving shall soon be seen. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never let your efforts go in waste. But effort is required. And this is how Allah guides. You have issues home in your family. You have issues with your children. You have issues with your wife. How does How does Allah guides? How does faith guides? Allah says, وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّمَا أَمْوَالُكُمْ وَأَوْلَادُكُمْ فِتْنَةٌ. وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّمَا أَمْوَالُكُمْ وَأَوْلَادُكُمْ فِتْنَةٌ وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ عِندَهُ أَجْرٌ عَظِيمٌ. Know that your wealth and your children are a trial, and that there's immense reward with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if you accept it as a trial and not get upset about it. How does Allah guide? In ta'fu wa tasfahu wa taghfiru fa inna Allah ghafurur rahim. But if you overlook their offenses, if you overlook their issues and not make it an issue and forgive and pardon them, then surely Allah is most forgiving and merciful. What does Allah say? You are going to have these tests and trials with your children, with your spouses. When you have these trials, have a big heart and let it go. Forgive and let go. And you see, Allah has put in our hearts mercy for our family. We fail to use that mercy. When we get upset, we just yell and scream and blame each other, and we know we're upset, but we don't realize is that my children are little and my wife is emotional. I've not met a sister who says I'm not sensitive. They're all sensitive. If I'm going to say harsh word to her, she's going to take it to heart and keep it there. So I may as well remain calm and say a word of love, a kindness. Sweetheart, you are upset, I know. Good, good, good loving talk makes such a difference. Wallahi lazim. Just try it. When you are angry, when you're upset, force yourself to talk in a sweet way. And the first thing that you do is say, I know you're angry. I know you're upset. And it calms her down. Why? Because we all want to feel understood. Am I right? We all want to feel understood. So if you understand and acknowledge what she may be or your child may be going through, you got them. They can't fight with you anymore. So this is how the faith teaches us as to how to deal with this situation. What are the other ways that we need to do? And this is my last part, and then I'm going to stop. Number one, acknowledge that you have a problem. One of the problems in not solving the problem is not acknowledging that I have a problem. If you keep blaming your problems on others, nothing would ever change. Number two, become self-aware. Re-examine your own expectations, your own attitudes, your own values. Are they realistic? If I'm expecting my children to be absolutely obedient all the time, if I'm expecting my wife never to ask me any question or never question me anything, never to disobey me, is that a realistic expectation? Is that, where does this come from? If I beat up my children and I say Allah has given me the permission to beat my children, Allah has given me permission to beat my wife if she doesn't listen to me, your problem will never be changed. Now, not only that, you're going to have a marital problem, but you have a spiritual problem as well. Because you misunderstood what Allah's command was all about. You need to correct your irrational thoughts and unhealthy beliefs. If your beliefs are unhealthy, and I just gave you an example, I am the man of the house, I must always be respected and never questioned. That's an irrational and unhealthy belief. My wife, my children should never talk back to me. It's an irrational and unhealthy belief. Nobody dares question me anything because I'm always right. Unhealthy, irrational belief. That's what self awareness is all about. Understand your emotions, like the brother said earlier. Understand your emotions, but also understand what triggers me. What triggers these emotions? And learn to deal with those triggers. Look at your habits. Habits and conditioned response. We all have bad habits, some of you, am I right? Nobody is devoid of any bad habits. And many of time we don't even consider that this bad habit is causing problems for not just me, but for others as well. And that I need to do something about it. This is what acknowledging and being self aware is all about. Preparedness to make new choices. This is very important to get you unstuck. Because there's always going to be some choices that you can make. They may not be 100% good, but then they may not be as bad as what you have now. Always be prepared to make choices. Getting yourself unstuck is very important. Make a commitment to get better. Don't just say, okay, well, I see what I can do. No. You say, I'm committed to make sure that I get better. And persevere. My dear brothers and sisters, my last comment. I often call myself a life coach more than a psychologist or a therapist. Because what I'm talking about is life problems, am I right? These are the problems of the life that we all go through, am I right? What we need is somebody to give us some guidance, somebody to show us the way as to how to get out of this. And mostly that's what I do. And there's no shame. And please do not make it a matter of shame to say, we don't do our dirty laundry outside. ये घर का मामला है बाहर नहीं बातें होगी इसकी अल्लाह के वास्ते सोचो यार If you have a cancer, आप ये घर का मामला है हम डॉक्टर के पास नहीं जाएंगे मर जाओगे भाई If you have a heart problem, if you have migraines, you say, it's my issue, I'm not going to see a doctor. Then suffer from it. If you have a mental health issue, an emotional problem, it's the same as a problem that needs to be solved, am I right? And you need to go to the right people to help them solve it. And not make it a matter of honor. आपको यकीन नहीं आएगा. One time a sister came to me and she said, I've been struggling in my marriage and I'm so unhappy and I need somebody to help me. I found out about you. Somebody says, go talk to Dr. Sadik. She came and I said, sister, does your husband know that you have come to see me? No, he doesn't. What if he knows that you come to see me? He said to me, if you went to somebody to seek counseling, you're divorced. So, Dr. Sadik, am I divorced now? You see, if you make it a matter of honor, हमारा कुछ problem नहीं है. We don't have problems. We are all fine. It's just like burying your head in the sand. It's shoving your dust under the carpet and say, we don't have any dust in our home. It's shoving all the dirty clothes, wrap it up and put it in a closet and close it. We don't have any dirty clothes here. We are all nice. There's no need for it. Everybody's in the same boat. These are life issues that we all struggle with. Am I right? It's not just your issue, my issue. Or if I'm having a problem, never think it's only me who's having the problem. Everybody next to you is having a problem. I guarantee you that. Because that's what life is all about. Don't ever be shy or feel ashamed to say, I need help. If you don't ask for help, even Allah doesn't give you help. And don't please say, just make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, everything's going to be okay. Dr. Sadiq, would you please give me some wazifa to do or some make dua to do? I says, if I give you wazaif, galore, and if you pray tahajjud and salat 24/7, your problem is not going to be solved. That's not how the problems are solved. You need to do something to solve the problem. So, I hope I have given the message. I'm going to stop here. for the last minute questions. Sure, please. Yes.
I think the net result is that if we practice and increase and improve our spiritual health, ultimately it will get our mental health.
Absolutely. You're right. Yes, brother. Yes.
Personal life reflection, like oftentimes, especially you have dealt with so many situations in life and with other people, and in your life when a situation comes in and you present that what's good and your family or close, they don't agree, but you see like this is now leading towards good.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that kind of?
You can't help somebody who doesn't want help. Please remember that. I'm a therapist. I'm qualified. I've been working for over 50 years. A parent calls me and says, my 12-year-old son, a recent situation, is completely gone astray. Would you please help? I said, I would love to have no problem. Would he talk to me? I said, never. He would not talk to you. And then how am I going to help? We are going to make some excuse to bring him to you. I said, please don't do this. As soon as he finds out that you are deceiving him, he's going to be even more mad at you. He's not going to talk to me. As somebody who doesn't want help, you cannot help them.
So if I'm like mad at somebody and I'm like my anger builds up and so do I either get angry at the person or just keep my anger in but then that person maybe just keeps on getting me mad so I'll just be super duper mad and it's gonna hurt me very much so
That's a great question. What's your name, son?
that's that.
My son. That's an extremely important and good question. Somebody keeps making you angry, and he keeps making you angry, or she, and you just keep taking it and keep suppressing it. What should you do? Never ever suppress anger because it doesn't go away. Anger is like energy. Energy has to be given a safe path to flow out. If you don't give it a safe path, it's going to burn. It's going to burn you from inside. Or it's going to blow, and you're going to be blowing up like a volcano. Don't ever suppress anger. So, should you yell and scream, people? No, no. You know, the easiest way and the simplest way to express anger, you know what that is? You say to the person, I'm really feeling angry. It's a very calm voice. I am really feeling angry. And you will calm down. Anger needs to be expressed. And I just expressed it. You see what I'm saying? I don't have to be theatrical to express it. I don't have to go hysterical to express it. I just have to say it. I feel hurt. When you said this, it really hurt me. When you said this, it really made me angry. I just wanted to share this with you. And that's all you say, Hassan. Make sense? Okay. Anybody else before? Yes, brother.
Yeah, just want to know all your experience. When somebody comes to you with his problem, like you tell us the story about the boy that at his Quran and unfortunately is a Muslim. So they come to you to find them a solution. So how do you help them? Religiously, how do you help them?
Okay.
Because they want a solution.
Right. So the way I helped this guy is number one, I told him I empathize with him. I did not judge him. And I told him, I can see what happened to you. And I'm so sad that it happened to you. And I know that you still have questions about your faith that you don't understand. But I'll be more than happy to explain them to you, each one of them, if you want to. So I give him a choice. And if he takes it, I would help him. If he has made up his mind that he does not want to have anything to do with Islam, there's nothing I can do to help.
My next question is, what is the lack of, the education of the parents? What they have missed, I mean,
what they've missed actually, brother, is like I said, is that it's not just the parents, it's the whole community. It's our masajid, it's our scholars, it's our imams who are not teaching the faith as it should be taught in these days. We don't live in the time when the virtue of the Muslim was that he says, Sami'na wa ata'na. I heard and I obey. We no longer live in that time. Every little kid says, why? Why do I have to do it? Nobody else is doing it. My so and so cousin doesn't do it. Why do I have to do it? And we say, shut up and do it. Because I'm asking you to do it. Because God is asking you to do it. And that's not the way to teach thee. This is where we have failed big time and it's still failing. It's still in these madaris and masajid. The Islam and the religion is taught in the traditional way. How to make wudu, what breaks the wuzu, how to pray, what breaks the wuzu. And it's not that it's unimportant. But teach them why do you have to make the wuzu in the first place, man.
So one last question, and then we're gonna break for food. If anyone has questions, sorry, sir.
We're going to eat it still. Yes, last question.
mashallah, you explained uh, the root cause you explained around 5, 6 points. As I was your practicing here, I grew up like always living the root cause for mental health is when a child has trauma with a bad child raising child. Maybe the child has broken family or he has domestic
Abuse.
abuse and stuff. So his mental growth it won't be the same as someone who grew up.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But I'm going to say one thing to you. I don't make big of the traumas. Is there any human being here in this room that can say that their life has been roses and peaches and there was never any trauma? Anybody? It's not possible not to have some traumatic events in our life. But Allah has made us such, my dear brother. Allah has made us with hard rubber. If you're thrown harder, we bounce back harder. But we are not given that choice anymore by the larger culture. Oh, poor guy, trauma. He's going to have to. You know, in the mental health today, the most talked about topic and the most talked about new strategy treatment is dealing with trauma. When somebody comes to me and says, I've gone through trauma, and I say, how long are you going to suffer from it now? Just tell me. Do you want to suffer from it the rest of your life? Yes, no. No. Then let go of the trauma. What's happened doesn't have to happen again. You're grown up. You're more mature. Let's deal with what you need to do now. Trauma is dealt with. You don't need to go through 20,000 sessions and 50,000 medications to deal with it. Jazakallah khair. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun salamun mursalin. Alhamdulillah alamin.
Jazakallah khair, Dr. Muhammad Sadiq. If you want to learn more about him, he's going to stick around for food. I know everyone is in a rush to get a bite to eat. Just need few minutes from everyone. Sir, can you hold this for a second while I make this quick announcement? So if you want to learn more about what Brother Dr. Muhammad Sadiq does, please log on to his website, which is shifa.ca. And he's available as a resource for the Muslim community. There are a few announcements from the communities, really quick.
If you go to shifa.ca, if you need some help with counseling, fill out a request for counseling form. Okay, and then inshallah I can help you from there, okay? Jazakallah khair.
Just real quick, I know we all are hungry and we're getting to food. There's a fundraising happening for a hospital in Gaza. The ICNA sisters are collaborating with the ICNA Relief Canada to collect funds for Gaza, the 10th hospital project, to provide medical services to public and specifically the ones getting injured and wounded during the brutal genocide happening in Palestine. So please donate generously through these ATMs under ICNA Relief to Gaza. Jazakallah khair, and this is a monthly reoccurrence. We want more family nights to happen. You folks have spoken, and the community leaders have decided to provide. There were wonderful topics mentioned by our doctor who came in, and I hope and pray that he comes back again to teach us some more valuable insights. Um Before you leave, there is QR codes on the door for young Muslims. We're doing activities for youth as well. We need your feedback on that in order to develop more. Please keep coming here again and again so that we could continue doing more events for you. Jazakallah khair. Sheikh, we have something for you shortly, inshallah, before you leave. We're gonna serve food, inshallah, inshallah. Sisters, please head downstairs. Food would be served downstairs for sisters, and for brothers, the food would be upstairs. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, sisters. If you could quickly go downstairs, that would be great so that we all could eat. Jazakallah khair. Sisters, please start moving downstairs. Food is served downstairs for sisters. Jazakallah khair.